things first, Brad. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel fine, thanks, Sam. No dramas whatsoever. I bounced back just as quickly as I went down, but it's a little bit frustrating just due to the timing, but and all the tests that confirm all the things that I didn't have, but unfortunately none that confirmed what it actually was. But initially they were running with viral meningitis for the first 24 hours, which can obviously be very, very serious, and so the doctors were absolutely fantastic, and they do look after coaches as well as they look after players, which is great.
There's probably not too many clubs in the competition that can have a coach like you go down and have Darren Crocker step up. It must be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, he's unfortunately, due to circumstance, we're pretty well versed in the protocol when this happened. So it wasn't so long ago that Croc stepped up and did a great job, and he's a senior coach in his own right. So the other assistant coaches just played their roles as normal, and Croc slotted straight into the role and did a terrific job.
You mentioned that seriousness. Were you pretty concerned at that stage?
Probably concerned because the doctors were concerned, but like most males, particularly in the sporting environment, you just sort of crack on until it becomes something too serious. So I'll learn my lesson. I probably should have gone and seen the doctor a bit earlier than I did.
Another absentee last week, Todd Goldson. Is he likely to be back this week?
I'm hopeful that he'll train today fully, and if he does that and gets through, then obviously he'll come in and play. But again, we'll watch him really closely at training and make sure he's 100%. I think the rough estimate last week was he was about 85%, but we won't risk him unless he's 100% or extremely close to it.
Brad, is there a risk it could become an ongoing thing if you bring him back too soon?
That's not the advice from the medical staff. The medical staff is it's structurally very sound. There's absolutely no problem there. It's more just, I suppose, pain and function. More function than pain.
You potentially keep Majak in even if he comes back, given that he's had that injury problem?
Yeah, that's something to consider. I thought he was terrific. He added a different dimension to us again, and now while I thought Hampson was quite effective in the ruck, Majak with his own ruck work was really good at times and plays a very different style of ruck to a lot of other ruckmen in the comp. So it's another string to our bow, and we'll have to look at the best mix from week to week.
Are you expecting other clubs to come for Majak at the end of the year, Brad? Do you think you'll have to fight pretty hard to keep him?
Oh, we fight to keep all of our players. I mean, as coach, I want every player to stay and to continue playing with us. And I just think it's a function. When your team's playing pretty well, you've got a lot of individuals playing well, and we've got a lot of guys pushing up from underneath that are putting serious pressure on some senior players. So you'd expect other clubs to have a look at them, as we do. We look at other clubs' good players as well. So that's all fine. I mean, there'll be speculation throughout the year, but we've got a lot of faith in Majak. You don't have to look too deeply at our forwards, and particularly their age, to see that there's going to be great opportunity here at North Melbourne for a long time.
What's his best position, Brad? Is it sort of ruck forward or forward ruck?
I think we're still working that out, Nick. He's played some great footy in the ruck, predominantly at AFL level. He has kicked 6 goals as an AFL forward, but he's also played various other roles for us as well. So we're still trying to work that out, and it's a bit of I suppose, going through the options of what's his best position and what's his best position for the team, and how does that fit around other players. So there's not an easy answer to that question at the moment.
Brad, we'll lose Sam. Who are the candidates to come in and fill his role?
Well, probably the guys who have, we've played a lot of players this year. I think we're certainly of the teams who are pushing up the top half of the ladder. We've played as many players as anyone, and the Dumont has played some really good footy for us. The guys at the VFL, while they had a loss on the weekend, there were a lot of really good individual performances. So it'll depend on whether we flick a midfielder back and bring a midfielder in. All those sorts of things we'll have to weigh up. But there's about 6 guys in line to replace Sam.
No, Tom Hawkins, obviously. Does that make Geelong easier or more difficult to plan against? They become more unpredictable in that regard?
Oh, definitely more unpredictable because of all the, I suppose, Selwood in the middle, Taylor back and Hawkins forward has been, pretty much Geelong for a long period of time and one of their great strengths. So clearly makes it a bit easier for us in terms of just their personnel, because Hawkins is such a good player and he's been really good against us in the past as well. But it does make them more unpredictable. And this year with Zach Smith coming in and Reece Stanley coming in, you never know where Blitz halves is going to play. So they're unpredictable, but we'll just have to back our structure in and make sure we're prepared for anything they throw at us.
A fair few people in the industry have had their 2 cents to say about Tom Hawkins and the suspension, including your brother. Were you surprised to see him off in a week?
Oh yeah, extremely surprised. When I was told about it, I thought they'd made a mistake and they were talking about another player who the MRP might have been looking at. But yeah, it didn't look like a reportable offence, let alone a 2-week suspension type offence. But if the MRP have made a statement, then that's really unfortunate for Tom, because they've made it probably after the fact. So it's all very well to say players are on notice now, but Tom didn't get much notice, did he?
So you expect the AFL to be harder on those sort of incidents given that statement now?
Oh, well, just for credibility, you have to, don't you?
Do you think players understand what they can and can't get away with punches? And we obviously saw the Tom Lynch stomach punch. It seems as though that there's a fair bit of leniency, at least with those ones.
Yeah, well, the frustrating thing was Mark Evans made it very clear when he took over that we're really trying. We don't want players to miss games unless they do something stupid that deserves to miss games. And the really unsavoury incidents, well, players should get suspended, and the players know that. But I thought he made it really clear that for these innocuous sorts of things that we don't really like and we don't want to condone, we'll fine the players for that. And that's the way it's always been since Mark came in. This is the one where it seems to be, it flies in the face of all the previous other decisions.
You go, mate.
As you prepare for Geelong, Brad, we mentioned some of the players that have come in this year. How much better are they? Are they sort of harder to prepare for this time around compared to, say, last year?
They are, because I think they've got more flexibility. Clearly Dangerfield would make a difference to any team, but I don't think it's fair to just isolate him. I think Lockie Henderson's had a terrific year. It's been really important for them and probably makes Lonergan and Taylor even better. And that flexibility in the ruck now with Zach Smith and Reece Stanley, really makes them, and the emergence of Kirsten. So, yeah, they've worked really hard, I think, to develop players underneath while their veterans are still playing good footy.
The commentary after your Sydney game was obviously a disappointing result. You bounced back, but do you think you're still getting enough respect as a football club at the moment? Does it mean anything to you?
No, it's great. It's perfect, because I mean, when you're 10-1, as a coach, you're working really hard to try and keep your players level and keep their feet on the ground. Everyone's doing that for us just perfectly, so I don't have to say anything.
And Jed Anderson, Brad, is he getting close to a return?
Yeah, he'll touch wood, play in the VFL this week. Again, it's dependent on training really well today, but his return's imminent and we hope it's this weekend.
Stevie Motlop has copped a bit of attention the last few weeks. Do you think you go to him physically this week?
Not so much physically, but I think we do have to be really aware of his great strengths. He's a really dynamic player at his best, and whoever gets the role on him is going to have a big job, particularly given it's his 100th game.